Tonight, the Port of Corpus Christi held a public meeting to discuss a proposed channel deepening project. Now, this project calls for dredging the ship channel from the Gulf of Mexico to Harbor Island in order to accommodate giant vessels that couldn't get under even the new, taller harbor bridge. Our Michelle Pedraza has more on the story for us tonight. Michelle?
Well, Joe, right now the Port of Corpus Christi is doing a feasibility study, which includes looking at environmental impacts and the economics of the project. The deepening would include up to 85 feet from the Gulf of Mexico to Harbor Island out to La Quinta Junction. And this will help the very large crude carriers, also known as VLCCs, or other vessels that come into the channel to be able to bring in more product. The port is currently running models, collecting data, and evaluating and reviewing information. And tonight, the community was introduced to the project and was able to give their input.
It's certainly early in the process for the public to provide input, but there's been a lot of interest around the project, and so we felt it was important to get out here sooner for people to hear what the project is and then be transparent with them, know that we really are interested in what they have to say.
The port will have another meeting when the feasibility study is complete within the next 2 months. They will also have a final report at the end of the year. If you have any questions or comments on the project, you can email them at projectteam@corpuschristichanneldeepening.com. Joe, Mackenzie.
All right, thank you very much, and much more.